Good morning. Welcome to this study session of the Mesa City Council. We'd like to excuse Mayor Smith and Councilmember Glover, who are traveling. And we'll see, do we have Councilmember or Councilwoman Higgins with us this morning on phone?
Good morning, Vice Mayor.
Good morning. Good to have you with us. Okay, our first item is item 1. Hear a presentation, discuss, and provide direction on an update of Art Place project at the Mesa Arts Center. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's see if I can get this to the right place. Good morning, Vice Mayor and council members, City Manager. Glad to be here this morning. Always nice to share happy news. So we're going to share not only the outcome of the grant, but some additional changes that have occurred since I last presented on this project to you. So first of all, you know, hot off the press, you did get a little advance warning, but you know that on Monday, Art Place announced its grants, and we were very proud to be one of 54 nationally who were chosen to receive a grant. The grant award was $300,000, smaller than the $575,000 we requested, but still a very generous grant that should really help us bring this concept forward. So today I'd like to share concept refinements that have happened for a couple of reasons. One was to fit the lower budget, and one is because during the process, Art Place came back toward the end with some questions and concerns, and we thought it was important to address them because they were valid. And so we gave them responses that we felt really strengthened our project. Their concerns, which I'll show you what we came back with. One was to make sure that it was our project was really specific to our city, that it wasn't something that could just be plunked down in any downtown, but something that really was reflected our own community. And the second one was to try to ameliorate the Arizona climate, if possible, to try to do something to make sure that it was as usable as possible for people in the hot Arizona sun. So the things that are covered directly by the funding from Art Place include the digital community bulletin boards, which you will recall originally we had 2 to 3 boxes planned with 2 or 3 screens apiece. We have reduced that to 1 larger rectangular box, but it will have 5 multimedia screens. And we think that will still serve the purpose, but it will save cost and allow us to do these other aspects. And the second, which is a new concept you haven't seen before, is a photo booth kiosk, which will be a really exciting addition to this project, and we had good discussions with some of our partners about it. The idea is that one of the things that's exciting about the Mesa Arts Center, any afternoon you go through, you see that it's Mesa's family photo headquarters. There are people, depending on the season, taking their holiday card pictures, their graduation pictures, their wedding pictures, their baby pictures. And this was one afternoon. I've snapped a few shots just in 10 minutes walking through the campus. So we are going to design and install a kiosk that will have a camera in it, and people can take their own pictures, and they can do it so they can set it so it's motion sensitive. So they can, in essence, curate a series of pictures of themselves or them with their friends, and the pictures will automatically then upload to one of the screens on the kiosk. So it'll be there almost like them self-curating an exhibit of their photos, which really speaks to something quite special about our campus and very site-specific and fun. We have elements that are not part of the Art Place funding that are part of this larger grant, larger project. One of those you already know about is the new stage, with the majority of the funding coming from the Mesa Arts Alliance. And there had been an idea that had come up from a couple of council members to make a change that would have added steps to the western side of the stage. And we did explore that in quite a lot of depth. The fire department was very helpful in working with us to look at reducing the fire lane to 18 feet to accommodate. Unfortunately, there were a lot of other aspects, challenges that occurred as a result. There's a stormwater drain that the fire trucks can't run over. That was one of the considerations, as well as other changes that would have changed the original concept of the stage, things that would have made it less effective. So we are not recommending moving forward with that suggestion. There was another aspect added, and this is something that we will be raising the money for, but it was part of the project, and that is a shade sculpture to appear on the north patio as something to make the shadow and shade that would be needed to make the climate more friendly for people to gather happen. And the idea is to commission an artist through an RFP, solicit and commission an artist to design some shade structure that we're calling a shade sculpture. It would use the basic shade sails that are an important architectural element at the center, and it would incorporate sculptural elements so that it was both beautiful and interesting as the sun moves across the sky. The idea is that these sculptural elements would also create patterns on the pavement below. We would have the artist selected work with Michael Tingley, the original design architect from Bora, to make sure that the integrity of the original architectural design was maintained. In phase one, we are only including, due to the smaller overall budget, the design of the shade structure, with the construction to come after, and to use the design to help raise the money to build the shade sculpture. And then the phase two, which will come after this initial 18-month period of phase one, would include the items we had discussed earlier with the renovation of the plaza, with the new drainage added, the hard surface, the hardscape, new lighting, replacing the trees that are there with date palms, and some community seating and engagement areas. The idea is to go through a community input process to really make sure that the design of that plaza serves the needs of both the community and area artists and arts organizations. And the shade sculpture fabrication and installation would occur at the same time as the plaza renovation, which is actually the most practical way to do it anyway, because we'd already be excavating. And this is just an overview of the overall estimated costs with a stage that was planned, that was incorporated into this, the box and multimedia screens, photo booth, and design for the shade sculpture in phase one, the cafe tables, chairs, and umbrellas, and then in phase two, the things that I just enumerated. And that is my update, and I'm happy to entertain any questions.
Wonderful. Any questions? Yes, Mr. Kavanaugh.
Just a comment. Earlier this week, I was at a conference in Evanston, the International Downtown Association. The focus was on how arts and innovation activate downtowns. And I happened to be with the Art Place people at the same time that the grants were announced. And it was nice to have our name discussed at the presentation. I know they're very excited about the project, but I think it's a very creative way to using the outdoor setting of the MAC to create a people place, and so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to work on raising the funds, because I guess my only regret is that it'll take a long time before we actually get people sitting at tables there. Phase two seems like it's a long way away. So.
The tables and chairs, actually, in the cafe area are in phase one. I have to raise $50,000 for it, but they're in phase one.
Okay, good. Great. That's good clarification. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Councilwoman Higgins?
Yeah, thank you. I just had a question about that photo booth concept.
Yes.
Are you taking pictures of people taking pictures?
Well, only if they press the button and take a picture of the kiosk. No, the kiosk would be set up in this north area, very visible to the public, where people can be seen while they take their picture, and they're just we don't know exactly the mechanism yet, probably pressing a button to start so that it's purposeful, and then have a motion sensor so they can move and make faces and gather in groups and do things to pose to create their photos that go up on the box. So no, more
so
like...
it's a new high-tech photo booth.
Right.
And way more fun.
Yeah, more fun.
And it shows up on your cubes that you have.
Right, the
slide
photos
before.
automatically upload, and there'd be instructions so people would understand that they're taking pictures that are going to become public,
Right.
and they are in public when they're taking the pictures, to make sure we have
Okay.
content that we're all comfortable with.
Very good.
Yeah,
No, it sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, another positive. So many good things are happening there. We appreciate your leadership, and as all of us know, lots of folks down there enjoying it. It's becoming really a key part of the community and in being embraced, so thank you for doing that.
Thank you very much to all of you for your support.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, next item, number 2, just information pertaining to the current job order contract. Does anybody have anything specific they wanted to pull out of that? We can have the city engineer come up. If not, we'll just know for our own review, and it's obviously public record.
Come up here because she hates it.
Well,
I do have a question.
yes, please, come
item
up. We'll get the city engineer up here, Ms. Beth
Okay.
Ewing.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Vice Mayor,
Morning.
Council.
Yes.
Good morning, Councilmember Higgins.
I had a question on number 3, that construct new Mac Pavilion stage.
Yes.
I thought we just heard we weren't doing that.
No, we are doing that. I think there was a suggestion made to modify the current design, the design we have that we're going forward with, to add steps to one side. And I believe Cindy just mentioned that we don't recommend that because of some of the items that are already constructed and underground and kind of in the way of getting that accomplished. But the MAC stage itself, I think Cindy presented a concept on that a couple of months back, and we're going forward with that concept into construction now. We want to construct it this summer while the stages are dark and there aren't as many people at the MAC.
Okay, great, thank you.
Good. And Ms. Ewing, just a reminder, by using this job ordering process, we're saving money, saving taxpayer dollars.
Yes, and we're getting it done and completed a bit quicker and a higher quality. I did want to mention we had a very successful subcontractor and materials supplier fair yesterday at the Convention Center and Building A. We had all 3 of our JOC contractors in and had booths. We had the Chamber of Commerce in, purchasing was there, as well as our tax and licensing folks, as well as our contractor for the Hohokam Fitch facilities. They were all there meeting with any interested Mesa-based firm. We advertised it. Chamber of Commerce tweeted it out and had it in their information so that we can attract in the Mesa-based firms and give them the opportunity to compete for work on this. It's a very successful fair. We had over 176 people sign in during the 4 hours. We had them waiting at the door at 8 o'clock, and it was a very nice event, and I really appreciate the Parks and Rec staff that helped us get that event going. It was a very nice event yesterday, so very pleased. And I also wanted to let you know that one of our job order contractors, Centennial, is currently working on space in the downtown and moving an office into downtown Mesa.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Well, thank you for all those efforts. I know that's an important part of Council's hope that we get that local participation. So thank you so much. Any other questions for Ms. Ewing? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Item 3, hear reports on meetings and conferences attended. Any of those? No? Councilwoman Higgins, anything?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, good. Next item, scheduling of meetings. Mr. Brady.
Our next study session will be a week from today on the 30th, so at 7:30. We'll see you then.
Wonderful. Ms. Mickelson, any items from citizens present?
No speakers, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, look for a motion to convene an executive session. We have a motion by Councilmember Kavanaugh, second by Mr. Summers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're now going to executive session. Thanks.